All right. Hey, everyone. So I'm here with the wonderful person and teacher, Phoebe Diffler. That she's
Hi.
that she's the amazing person that taught me Thai massage back in 2018, and that she's coming up to San Jose July 16th and 17th, and we're gonna lead a Thai massage weekend workshop together. And we just thought it would be cool to come on and just talk about our experiences doing it. Phoebe's been doing it for 20 plus years. I've been doing it for 4 years, and just kind of share a little bit about of what it is and what it means to us and what it's brought into our lives and what it's allowed us to share with other people. And so, Phoebe, my first question to you is, what brought you to Thai massage initially, and why are you still doing it 20 plus years later?
Excellent question. Um, at first it was an extension of my yoga studies. I just moved to LA and I was taking a lot of workshops and I learned a lot of, was so excited about being in one of the centers of yoga. And there was a great Thai massage teacher here, Saul David Ray. And so I decided to take a weekend workshop, just like we're going to teach.
Oh,
And one of the first things that happened to me in that workshop was this part well, where the person is sitting up and you just press your hands on their shoulders. And so I had a partner. She had never done any body work or not that much yoga or anything like that. But she is a person that's just connected, and everybody's connected in different ways, and she had her own kind of connections. But she was pressing down on my shoulders, and all of a sudden I felt this intense feeling in my heart, as intense as the shoulders. And
hmm.
it was like the log jam broke and tears just rolled down my eyes. And I just thought, wow, it was just, I just got it in that moment, how powerful this work is, how many different layers there are to it, how you don't necessarily have to be a master at it in order to start helping people. And so that was really how it started. And then I saw that Saul offered longer trainings, and that's what people often do with me, is they take a weekend or an evening, and then they decide they want to study further. So they do exactly what I did: take a weekend, and then a 10-day training, and then an advanced training, and then maybe personal training, et cetera, et cetera. And so um, and then as far as why am I still doing it, because um, well, it expanded so much for me. At first, I was a graphic designer. I just moved to LA, and I planned to be the art director of Food and Wine magazine. That was my
Uh,
plan. And, and then I while I was waiting for that to happen, I took a lot of workshops and started studying Thai massage more. And then I was teaching yoga at a studio, and I would offer students there, short massages or eventually long sessions with people. And the doors kept opening for me to do more and more. And all of a sudden I found myself with a list of, with a week full of clients, and in addition to teaching yoga. And so I just kept doing it. And then at a certain point, you know, it becomes deeper. Like every year, at first I thought, okay, now I have it, and this is great. And then, as I'm sure you know, and then all of a sudden,
yeah.
6 months later, you're like, okay, well, now I have it. And then you realize I'm never going to have it, but I see the expansion of the practice, and also the progress of the people I work on, especially people that you work on over and over again. So and then it did a lot for me as a person. It does a lot for me as a person, not only physically. Definitely I feel extremely comfortable in my body. And I'd already had several careers by the time I even started this, and this was like 22, 23 years ago. So um and the one before this was sitting in front of a computer, and I was kind of, as much yoga as I did, I was still kind of compressed in my neck, especially. And the opportunity to do work where you get down on the floor I mean, I have clients my age that are scared of the idea of getting down on the floor, at
Mhm.
all. Like, and so just the idea, just the kind of thing where you're carrying something around, you're getting down on the floor, you're moving around, and it's been really, really good for me, and physically, and as well as um, definitely expanding my connection with just realms beyond the one that we're in now. I noticed at one of the first trainings that I assisted trainings for a long time. I was just thinking about this the other day. I just happened to look over at somebody when somebody very first touched them at a training. And this is probably one of the more dramatic things that I saw this red crown of thorns appear over his head. And I mean, that's not the kind of thing you see when you're an art director, sitting in front of the
Wow.
computer all day. So that's sort of an appetizer, I guess, of why I do it still.
Yeah. Um, no, I said you raised your hand for some reason, so
I
I
know
just
my computer likes my computer. I mean, I was thinking I actually did raise
Yes,
my
Phoebe,
hand.
you have a question? Um, okay, yeah. So you're kind of pointing there at the end of that the effect that it has on your body, as you're giving it.
Yeah,
And that's you're a few years older than me. That then you look a lot younger than time says that you are. Um, and you're still giving Thai massage full time. And yeah, as you talk about this, I was just like kind of thinking about the the, the I learned Thai massage back in 2018. I had been teaching yoga for a few years. I had been practicing for a few years, and I still had this that kind of constant knee pain, in my left knee. And I didn't make any connection to Thai massage until just now. But it was literally around the time that I started giving Thai massage within like the next like 6 months or a year even. And now the knee pain is like totally gone, and it's been gone for a couple of years now. And
that's
I'm
great.
thinking, I think Thai massage probably helped that. And like, yeah, the, I love yoga. I love like being athletic and like crawling on the ground and getting in like different positions and stuff. And that's one reason why I love Thai massage, because like it does just like allow you to move in all these creative ways and like learn how to use your body in a very supported way in order to help somebody else to find comfort and release in their own body. And so I was wondering if you could speak a little bit more to the the effect that it has on your body, and why at your age that you're still able to do it full time. Because like I hear Thai massage therapists who are my age or even younger, and they're talking about their body being in pain. And when I hear them say that, I'm like, man, I'm so sorry. You know, I don't feel that at all. That because the method that I use is just like actually really supports my body too. And I feel like that's such a beautiful aspect of Thai massage. I was hoping that you could,
Answer. I
share
hope
about
I
your
could answer
experience.
it. Well, there are a couple of different categories of that. I think one thing is and I suspect you feel the same. I love doing this, and therefore, when something comes up, I figure out how to fix it. You know, um, so I've had, of course, over the past like 25 years, I've had different injuries. But I remember one time I actually did hurt my knee, and I remember working on people where I literally had trouble like walking into the room. But once I got on the floor and working them, they didn't even notice, right? Which is appropriate, which is what you want. Um, but in the meantime, and I think the reason for that is it's so expansive in the work that you can shift around the way that you work. Like I've had times when my hands bothered me, so I just did most of the session with my feet as much as I could. And yeah, I think that's actually some of it. Is I've seen people in that work in you know, they feel like they have to work in this linear kind of way that they learned. And it's very hard. There's so much to it that it's very hard to get to the point where you realize I'm going to offer what is appropriate for me physically, what I think this person needs, as opposed to this whole session that's laid out, and that also
Yeah.
helps, so that I'm not expecting anything of myself other than what my mind, body, and spirit has to offer in that moment. And that, I think that's a really big part of it. And I acknowledge the fact that bodies, including mine and the clients, change all the time. And so I think when you give yourself permission to show up with a knee injury, or your hand being sore, or your dog knocked you over and knocked something out of
Mhm.
whack that day, then you can figure out how to do a great session that acknowledges that. And I think that's like, so you're constantly giving a message to your body, you know well, like constantly giving a message to your body, like, I really want to keep doing this, so let's figure out how to do that. But like, oops, sorry,
Mm.
I got a scam call.
Oh shoot.
Anyway, so yeah, it gives me a lot of incentive to, and also I've had connections with a lot of different kind of body workers, just meeting them doing this kind of work. And so, that's also part of it, is, I'm in a network now, instead of art directors, of body workers, so that if I do have some kind of injury, I usually have somebody to go to that can help me. But I think the main thing is it's very physical in a way that um, gives instead of taking away.
Yeah. Yeah, and I don't know if you've experienced this, but uh, with my friends and stuff, I share these stories that, that many times, because it just always blows my mind. Is that, like, the whole giving and receiving thing, that we kind of think like, oh, I'm giving you a massage. When are you going to give me a massage? Because I need a massage. But there have been so many times where, like, the one example that was just like so blatantly obvious was one night that literally I like turned the lights off. I was going to lay down to go to sleep. Um, that my brother comes down and he's like, "Hey Nate, could you work on my back?" And I'm like, "Oh my God, are you fucking kidding me?" And I'm like,
Yes, I
"Yeah,
can't refuse, even though you
yeah,
want to. Yes.
oh yeah, right, right." I'm like, "Yeah, yeah." I mean, he's like, "Yeah, I have this like really sharp pain in the left side of my back, right between my shoulder blade and my spine." Then like right away the light bulb went off in my mind, because I was like, weird, because today I've had a pain in the same exact spot in my body, and I like literally never have a pain there. And I was like, weird. Okay. So then I started to work on him. And because I knew what it felt like in that moment, I was like, okay, well, so maybe this would feel good, maybe that would feel good. And I worked on him for longer than I was thinking that I was going to. We said goodnight, and I go to sleep, and I'm like, oh my God, that pain in my back is literally non-existent. And that's happened time and time again. Like the one day, I just wake up and I'm like, wow, my lower back is so tight. What the hell did I do? What's going on? And I go and see this client who I see every week, and she just happens to say this week, my lower back is killing me. I'm like, I feel you. And then I work on it and I leave, and it's like, I feel better too. So there's such a beautiful connection that we can deepen, through this work. Because I feel like our bodies really help us to communicate with each other through feeling, and helps us to develop a little bit more compassion and empathy. Um, and we can actually heal each other, as we do this work too, that no matter if you're receiving or giving. I mean, that's one thing that I've come to really love about this.
I love hearing that. I just have to stop and say that, you've been doing this for 4 years, which is a substantial amount of time. And it's just exciting to see, how much you're getting out of it, and
Yeah.
knowing that, that it's sort of like, for me, I feel like I helped you to learn something, and seeing you taking it somewhere, and all, I don't even know all the different places where it's going, but
Yeah.
it's a really It's a really good feeling.
Yeah, and just a quick moment of gratitude. Just you're such an amazing teacher, and in the two trainings we've done together, it was just I feel like I learned it so quickly because you taught it so well, and I feel like the things that you taught me, even in like the very first training, which was 4 years ago, I just like still do that every single session because it's such a great reminder every single time. So thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Um, okay.
I think one of the things that I always think about when I'm teaching people is um not to make, just to try to, and the same thing when I wrote my book, I kept rewriting things and thinking, I want to make this as simple as possible. Like I think sometimes people think they have to make things as complicated as possible so that the person receiving it, hearing and learning it realizes how big it is, how important it is, right? But actually, I think the simpler it is and the more understandable it is, the easier it is to learn, which is what you're after as the teacher. And
Yeah.
then also the repetition, doing the section and then doing the next section and then doing a review and then doing a whole session with people and then switching partners. And so that and you have the opportunity to remind people that just let it flow over you. Don't worry about trying to remember anything right now. Just let us guide you through what's happening. All those things make a really big difference.
Yeah. And also I think that the ability to simplify it as a teacher is the sign of a really good teacher. So
Well, thank you.
yeah, yeah, definitely. Okay, so this could be like a super, super long answer, but just kind of like uh, to pretend like I'm somebody who just met you and you said you did Thai massage. I'm like, what's Thai
What
massage? Yeah,
That's the hardest thing to answer.
yeah.
I used to have a
Right.
teacher that would go, okay, clear your mind. What's Thai massage? And I'd be, but so I think it's an ancient healing practice in the form of a massage. That's the basic answer. And it encompasses so many different aspects of the person. It connects, like you're talking about, like for instance, when you were talking about feeling the same kind of pain your brother felt or clients when you work on them, there's so many levels to that. One is what you're talking about, where where it really expands your compassion and your empathy with somebody and your knowledge of how to deal with something because you're feeling it too. There's also like, where did that pain really come from? Was it actually your shoulder pain, or was it something that you intuitively felt? Because even though your mind didn't know your brother was going to come in and ask you to work on
Mm,
him, some aspect of you was already feeling something that was getting ready to happen. So you're already getting into another dimension of being a person, right? And which is such a huge enhancement to your just expansion as a person. Um, so so that's another dimension of Thai massage there, and then there's the um just it started, the work started because there was usually one person in a family in ancient times that was there was one person that was the builder, and one person that took care of the money, one person that took care of the health of the people and did the body
mm,
work and that sort of thing. So it was passed around, that way, and then people kind of wrote things down and passed them around, and so you're getting back to the kind of something that's just been going on for such a long time, and it's still relevant in this modern world that we're in.
yeah.
That's explanation of Thai massage number 75. But
Yeah, right, right. Yeah, there are like there are definitely so many ways to talk about it. I mean, I agree. I mean, one thing that I'll say is that every time that I work with someone for the first time, even if they've had other Thai massages, they're like, "Wow, that was that was really different because I think that you taught me a method that isn't like the common one that would kind of run into the most likely if you just go to like a Thai massage place.
Mm.
Like, wow, that was really different. The, the, they say that in a really good way because they're feeling very like centered and they're feeling very present afterwards and they're feeling relaxed but also energetic. Like, I like it's so funny. This one guy who I was working with for a long time, I was like, hey, I want to give you a 3 hour massage just on me, just as a thank you. And we did it in the evening. And like I talked to him the next day. I'm like, hey Brad, how you feeling? And he's like, oh my gosh, I feel so great. I cleaned my whole house last night after after the massage. I was like Energizer Bunny. I was like, okay, well, cool. I'm glad that you're happy about that. So yeah, like that doesn't really put you out of it, that like could happen, sometimes in massages. Um, but yeah, so okay. One last question that I have is, so obviously, it's easy to think about that somebody could benefit from this workshop if they like already do body work, or if they do like a chiropractic or acupuncture, or if they teach yoga. But why would somebody benefit from doing this? That just like, if they're interested, but if they don't do any kind of body work at all, if they just like they work at a store, or if they work a desk job.
Or they've never done any kind of
Yeah,
healing work or yoga at all.
yeah,
Um, it's I think it's an introduction and just another aspect of being a person, and if you're a person, then this is going to offer you something as I see it, and I mean, I've had people come to trainings that, that had a broken foot, so that they
mm,
can still,
wow.
they can still participate. And also, sometimes people go in just because their girlfriend made them come with her, and they end up really loving it and wanting to do it more. Also, if you don't want to do it as a, as a practice where it's your work, you can offer it you have something to offer to friends, like when their brother comes down and says, my back hurts. And that's what I was thinking about when I wrote my book, really, is for people to be able to work on their kids or their friends, or um, when they go on vacation with somebody, maybe, maybe give them, know how to give them a foot massage if they want it, or work on their shoulders, or really help them relax their face. And you also, develop the ability to look at a person and see some things that are going on with them by just looking in a different way, right?
Yeah,
And it's also, I think it's, I think it's fun. If I didn't, I wouldn't do it.
same.
And I know you do too. So yeah, it could be like, this is just an interesting thing to do this weekend, and that I've never done, and I might keep using it. I might never use it again.
Yeah, yeah, right. It is really just a nice thing to offer anybody really who's open to receiving a little bit of it. I mean, like if you're at work and someone's like, oh my God, my neck is just like killing me. And you're like, oh, well, hey, or if your family, saying something like that, or if you're in a partnership and you're on a getaway, like you're talking about, and you want to make it like a little bit more romantic, this would help too. Um, but yeah, it is really, really beneficial, I think, just to be more comfortable with touch with other people,
Yes,
because
good point.
there's such there's such a fear, I think, because we're self-conscious about our bodies, and because there's such a stigma. I think stigma is the right word, but there's such an association with all touch being sexual, and touch does not have to be sexual most of the time. And if we could find a way to be more comfortable, to there's like, being around each other, to being like the closer to each other, and even offering each other some comfort through touch, it doesn't have to be sexual at all. I mean, I just feel like it'll make us, a lot closer as families, as friends, as partners, everything.
I think that's such a good point. I'm glad you brought it up. Yeah, I agree. And my mind went immediately to how, we have no problem going up to somebody's dog and just reaching over and petting it,
Right. That's
right?
why dogs love us so much because we give them
Yeah.
massages all the
And
time.
that's why we feel so open-hearted being around animals, because
Mm.
we feel comfortable, connecting with them. And yes, and so it really does. You, one aspect of it that what you're saying makes me think about is it really does help you just learn how to feel comfortable touching people and have such a positive connection with it. Um, but also, for people that are yoga teachers or that do body work, this is a different way of touching people. And so it does enhance those kind of practices too.
Yeah. Yeah. All right. Well, is there anything else that you'd want to say before we hop off here?
I don't think so. I'm looking forward to our weekend and teaching together with you. I think it's going to be really fun.
Yeah, me too. I'm really looking forward to it. Okay, well, yeah, so the weekend that the link will be here and everything, but it's July 16th and 17th in San Jose, and there'll be about 10 spaces available. So yeah, if you have any questions, just email me, get a hold of me whatever way you want to. I mean, we could talk about it. But yeah, I hope to see you there. And thank you, Phoebe, so much for coming on and spending some
Thank
time here.
you.
I'm gonna end the Facebook video, that we're gonna stay on this for a few more minutes.